Welcome back everybody to my channel. I'm Rizbo the Blade, your personal mining guru, and today we're gonna explain you everything what you need to know about material densities and why is that so much important, much more than you think. I promise that I'm gonna make this video because this is very extremely important and usually majority of people who already mine long time still don't know about these things. Usually what players know about densities is that only that some materials have better densities, some of them they have worse, but they don't know actually if you combine these materials together, densities influence on actually how much ore you're getting out from each particular rock. And differences are so big that you cannot even imagine, right? So really somebody needs to show you that, so let's go directly straight to the point and explain you everything. For explaining you everything and demonstrate you how this works exactly, we're gonna use again this datasheet from Red Monster Gaming. And normally I rearrange a little bit, in my way, how I think it's important to see. And this is how I'm gonna explain you much more easily. In Star Citizen game, we have 4 tier of materials. We have Q tier, tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. So tier Q, it's only one material and normally that's Continuum, which is the best material to mine no matter what the stats say, because it's the most worth material, right? And this material is worth 25k per 1 SU. Then we have tier 1 materials, which are Baxelite, Terranite and Gold, and they're worth from 7.5k to 7.9k. After that we have tier 2 materials, which are boras, hephaestionite, beryl, agritium and laranite, and their worth is from 2.6k to 3.6k. And on the last we have tier 3 materials, which are aluminum, quartz, corundum, titanium, iron, copper and tungsten, and they are from 0.3 to 0.5k. We today talk about densities, and here on this data you see densities here on the bottom, and the higher the number goes, the density gets worse. The lower the number that gets, the density gets better. U tier, which is Continuum and it's only one material, has pretty bad density, but it has very big value, so that's why we need to mine it no matter what. But tier 1 materials, as you see where it says Baxelite, Terranite and Gold, Baxelite, because it's the lowest number, has the best density. Then it follows Terranite, and then Gold is the worst. So even if these materials are in price wise almost the same, Gold is the worst to mine, because you're gonna get it the least as an amount of ore in ACU when you're gonna mine it. What is concerned tier 2 materials, I didn't put them from the exactly best to worst, because first 3 materials you should mine, which are boras, hephaestionite and beryl, and you're not supposed to mine agritium and laranite because they have the worst density, right? Why boras is on the first place is because also like Continuum, he has the best value, right? So you can sell it for 1/3 more than other materials almost. Then hephaestionite and beryl. Beryl has the best density, but hephaestionite has the lowest resistance, almost nothing, right? So it's the easiest thing to mine, and the numbers between them are almost the same what is concerned density. Problem is with the beryl that it has the biggest resistance and the smallest green optimal window, and that's why he is the hardest, material from tier 2 materials to mine. Now we are on tier 3 materials, which are our last tier, and this is that tier which is basically worthless, at least for now, till we're not gonna get crafting and building in the game. Then we're gonna need a lot of them. The reason for that is because tier 3 materials in value, if you for example fill up full mole, which on the end it's gonna give you like around 86 ACU, even if it pure is 96. In money, that's like between 35 to 40k maximum. So that's the full mole inverted to 40k. That's why these materials are not worth it to refine and to sell, because the refinery takes longer, you need to pay more for refinery job, and they're just not worth it. But tier 3 materials play the biggest role in game when they are combined with, for example, continuum or tier 1 materials or tier 2 materials. How much ore you're gonna get out from particular rock which you're mining. As you see here, density of them are going pretty low, starting with aluminum. And as you see, I put them from the lowest to biggest, except first two. I put first aluminum on first place, and the only reason for that is that it's actually two reasons. First is lowest instability, it's 0, and then density is 92 and quartz is 90, so it's only 0.2 difference, which is not gonna play some significant role in quantity, right? But aluminum you get on Lyria and Walla, where you can find the biggest possible rocks on surface mining. So that's the reason I put it on the first place. With this old data, now you know the basics, but you still don't know anything because it needs to be shown to you what that means in praxis, right? And for that we're gonna use REGOLITH CALCULATOR, which is online Star Citizen tool for mining, which can show you how much more or less materials you can get with all these materials combining together, and normally how much is more or less in price, how much you can get, right, when you sell them. With this online calculator you can create, you see like here, mining stations, right? Then you can create this mining loadouts for your mining ships, right? So you can do mining heads, modules. You can save this, right? So you can see the data for that. And also you have work orders. So this is like same thing like in your refinery. You can create the complete work order here, with all the materials, selecting Prospector or mole, having prices here, how much is the refinery fee and all that stuff. And here down we have a cluster calculator. So this is what we're gonna use for showing you these densities and how much ore you can get from it and how much is that more or less money, right? And also we have market price finder, so you can see all the prices for everything, even for hadanite, for rock mining, for RMC, for salvaging. So all this, can be shown you here in this REGOLITH calculator. It's a very great tool, and you can just log in this REGOLITH calculator on the site through your Discord, password and username. So it's very simple, log in, and you can even use it without logging in. So you can just click and use the calculator like that. Last thing here is this data tables, which showing in which refinery you get more money because of bonuses, right? And how much more that could be in price. Let's demonstrate you now what you need to exactly know, remember, and not forget, so you're gonna be much more successful in mining. Now we're gonna add a rock. First we're gonna add a rock, and this rock is gonna be gold, and we're gonna add to that gold rock tier 3 materials, which is gonna be tungsten, corundum, and aluminum in that sequence. So we're gonna choose 50 tons rock, which is basically around mass, which you can break alone with helix laser and also with mole, right? And we're gonna add 49% gold, which is mostly the highest, like 49.9. And we're gonna put tungsten, so inert is gonna be like 10% only. And now you're gonna see how much from this rock we can get, right, up in the value and in the material. So this is the numbers, what you see now up. So it's 42 SU in gold, and it's 270, we can say, K in money, what you can get out from this particular rock. And just remember, gold and tungsten has the worst density. So that's the worst option on Lyria. If you mine on Lyria, for example, what you can get. Normally with combining tier 1 material, which is gold, and combining tier 3 material, which is tungsten. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna add another rock and we're gonna put exact same values, but we're just gonna exchange gold for Taranite. And now you're gonna see how huge difference this makes in money. So we put exactly the same value, and now if you see here, it says Taranite 56 SEU and it's 353k, right? So that's for 80k more just with exchanging these two materials. This is how much more you get with Taranite. And now we're gonna add, right, the third rock to all this, and we're gonna exchange it with Baxelite. So the all value is gonna be again the same, 50 tons and 49% of Baxelite and 10 inert. And normally tungsten, how much is more if we just get to 10, right? So it's 41. And now look now the price up. It says 65 ACU and 437k in price. So now you see how big difference this makes. But we just started to explain you stuff. Now it's gonna get even better, because exchanging secondary materials, which in this case is tungsten here, with corundum and aluminum, it's doubling your ore up and normally doubling the money. Now we're adding another rock. We're getting the same, values like before. We're gonna put Baxelite, which is the best tier 1 in density, and we're gonna exchange it with corundum, the tungsten. So now the secondary material, which is worthless material, is gonna be corundum on the same exact values. And now look what's happening with price. So now we're getting 143 ACU and 972k in money. So that's abnormal huge difference in what you're getting just with exchanging this worthless tier 3 material, which is as a secondary material in the rock, right? But we are not done yet here. So we're gonna exchange again this corundum. So we're gonna make one more rock, and we're gonna put normal exact same values and put on the corundum place aluminum, which is the best tier 3 material for densities what you're getting on Lyria. And now we're getting even like around 100k more, right? So it's exactly 100k more, little bit like 110k more in money, and normally we're getting like 17 ACU more in volume, in ACU of ore. So this is how this works, and that's why you need to normally to remember all this. But now we're gonna show you something else. So on Lyria, you can maximum find 150 tons rock. So this is for team mining, right? That's the highest that I personally found. And we're gonna put continuum and tungsten on the same values like before. And now you're gonna see how much this is gonna make you money and how much this ore is in ACU. So we're putting tungsten on 21, because the more inert you have, the value it goes up. So you see you have continuum here, 153 ACU, and that's almost near 4 million, 3.4 million almost, right? So the more we put tungsten in and less inert, the value and quantity goes down. So inert is even better than tier 3 materials, what is concerned how much more ore in quantity you get, right? But we're gonna put it around 30%, so this is like around maximum that you can get. Usually it's 10 inert or less than 10. So as you see here, it's 3.3 million and 378k, so it's near 3.4 million. But normally we're not done yet, right? So we're gonna exchange. That was with tungsten, which is the worst, right? So now we're gonna put corundum. So again, same thing, all same values. We're just gonna exchange tungsten for corundum. And now you're gonna see that with that we're getting basically 1 million more in such a big rock, right? This is very rare rocks. That's the biggest one on surface possible. But with this is now 197 SU and it's 4 million in 300, almost 50k. That's a huge difference, guys, and that's the reason why you need to know all these values. And normally now we're gonna put also aluminum as the best one, and it's gonna be even more when you put all the same values. So 150 tons, I'm gonna put continuum with aluminum and 49% quant, and we're gonna put aluminum again, so it's gonna be around 21, so in it's 30, and now it's 4.5 million. So basically it's 100k more, right? With this little bit even more, like 110k if you put aluminum and corundum. So aluminum and corundum are both the same good, right? So you just need to pick them always than tungsten if you're mining on Lyria, for example, right? And this is where you should go to mine if you're gonna mine with team and you're gonna have 3 people, you know, on lasers. So this is the best place to go on surface if you're mining surface and not in space. Now we're gonna show you on which area you're getting which tier 3 materials, right? Which they're gonna determine how much ore you're gonna get with your tier 1 material or tier 2 or quant. And for example, for Hurston area, if you mine on actual planet Hurston, you only have iron, right? So you cannot choose anything. It's always iron, and iron is somewhere in the middle, right, with densities. On Hurston, on Aberdeen and Ariel moons, you have quartz and iron and copper. So if you get copper actual stats are extremely good, everything except density, right? So this thing is extremely easy to mine, but density is very bad. It's even worse than iron. So on Ariel and Aberdeen, you should go for rocks which as a third material, which is secondary material in the rock, have quartz inside. So this is gonna give you much more ore with your primary materials, which they're gonna be continuum or tier 1 or tier 2 materials. And also on Hurston, on Eta and Magda, you also have iron, same as actual Hurston planet. So you cannot choose, that's the only thing what you can get there, and you don't have any other option to choose. On Crusader area, on actual planet, Crusader is, gas giant planet, so you cannot mine there, but you have 3 moons around Crusader. First moon is Daymar, and on Daymar you have 3 tier 3 materials, which you get in combined in the rock with tier 1, tier 2 and continuum, and that's titanium, iron and copper. So you also have iron, same as on Hurston area, but copper is pretty bad. Iron is almost close to copper, so your best option is to have titanium, right? Titanium has a pretty nice density, and because of that material you're gonna get much more ore with your primary materials which you're gonna mine. Selene and Yela have aluminum and titanium, so normally here titanium, like we said, is not bad because you're getting also on Daymar, but much better option is aluminum, which is basically the best tier 3 material for density, same as quartz. Now we're on R-Group area. So on R-Group you have only 2 moons, and also on R-Group on actual planet you can't mine, so it's only moons where you can mine, on Lyria and Walla. And on these both planets you have the same things, which are aluminum, corundum and tungsten. So we said tungsten is the worst from all of them, from all tier 3 materials for density, but then you can choose between aluminum and corundum, and these both options are great, right? With aluminum being the best, but corundum is pretty close, right? So it's immediately behind aluminum and quartz, so that material is actually also great, if you get it in the rock. for getting more ore for your primary materials. And now last one is Microtech, where you can mine also on actual Microtech as a planet, and you have also 3 moons. And on Microtech planet, on Calliope and Clio moon, you have quartz and corundum only. So this is what I can recommend you go to mine there, because on Euterpe moon you also get copper. And copper is same as tungsten the worst, even if copper is 1 times better than tungsten, but these two, tungsten and copper, are the 2 worst materials for densities. One more thing which is good to know in this data, you see here it says mass index range. So this is how much big stones you can get on each area, and you see on Lyria and Walla it's going up to 8, so this is the biggest. And in space you can find till 9, right? So this is like some 15 tons to maybe 20 tons bigger rocks, right, in space. But on surface you have it from, basically from 3 index to 8. And if you wanna find the smallest rocks, you need to go like on Selene, because there around the Crusader on Selene moon we have also pretty good percentage for continuum finding, and Baxelite and Taranite and gold and boras, right? So it's really good place. And normally you're getting as a third materials aluminum and titanium. It's half, so many times you're gonna have aluminum, so that's gonna be the most ore for you for your primary materials. One very important thing that I still need to mention is that if you're gonna mine and you're gonna have perfect breaks, everything in the green zone, so you're not gonna overheat anything, you still gonna be able to lose material. This is something which we don't know why it's happening. It's just something in the game that no matter how good professional, if you wanna say it like that, you're gonna break the rocks and break second pieces, so nothing is gonna be overheated, you're still gonna lose material. So if you're gonna see on calculator how much you're supposed to get ore, that doesn't mean that you're gonna get exactly so much amount out when you're gonna be in front of rock and when you're gonna mine it and collect it. It's always gonna be maybe like 10% less or maybe 15. So just very good to remember that. I hope guys you learn a lot from this video and from this demonstration of material densities, because as you see, it's a huge difference between different materials when they're combined together. And like I said, the majority of players who will mine long, they're not paying too much attention to this, and they should, because the difference in ore quantity is abnormally huge. If you have something to ask guys, you can always ask me in the comments below the video, and maybe if something is not clear or if you want to know more, you can also join in my Java Scrap Mining Corp Discord, always if you want, and ask me questions there, and you can play with us. And especially if you're somebody who like this industrial type of things of mining or salvaging, it's a lot of players there who like the same things. I also stream on Twitch, so you can follow me there and join there and ask me questions, and all these links gonna be in the description. And the next video, it's gonna be, I think, about boras mining, where I'm gonna demonstrate you how you can basically fill up almost your full ship with just pure boras, and what this type of rock needs to be, and what's the data in the rock, percentages, mass and all that stuff. Guys, this is all for now, and just remember, be patient, don't be lazy, do your homework and learn, and remember all this stuff about data and all different kinds of informations what we have, and your mining is gonna be much more successful and much more fruitful, if you want to say it like that. See you next time. Bye bye.